Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, esteemed guests, colleagues, locals. I couldn't keep going. How's everybody feeling this afternoon? It's Friday. Made it to the end of the week. End of the first week. Teachers still alive. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of rumors going on around. But this is your opportunity to find out who I am. And right off the bat, you guys are the cream of the crop. You guys are the tip of the spear. You are the icing on the cake. You are the model of what a CIA First International High School student looks like, so give yourself a round of applause. You are the best that we have to offer. This is the class that we put out to compete with every other high school student in the world. And your job is to not only let them know that you are showing up, but you're ready to show out. Your job is to put your best foot forward and let them know that you're ready. You are here to compete. You got the grades to show for it. You got the transcript to show for it. You run all the clubs and the activities. Your profile says it all. You're the leaders of the school. Therefore, this conversation is going to be a lot different from what you've heard. Because this conversation simply says, I need your help. You're the oldest, the more mature, the most organized professional students that we have. And when I need ambassadors to represent this school, this is where I pull it from. Congratulations. So, over the next 20 or 30 minutes, we're going to talk about your role as seniors. Are you ready? Yep. Are you relaxed? Good, because I need your help. Because at the end of this, you will know what I mean when I say we can do better. So first things first, next slide. Taylor Swift is a good friend of mine. Usually I just say, okay, Taylor, I'll call you back. She's always running around the world. But she wanted to share her message with you first. So I told her I'd give her a slide. Next slide. Welcome to the real world, people. Now you know what you've spent the last 13 years doing. I'm going to talk to you like the aspiring young adults that you are. Now, if this was grade 11, I would say that you're trying to be. But you're it. You represent 12 years, 13 years of education, right? With that come an expectation on your side and my side. You are the only group of students I listen to. Do you understand what I just said? Everybody else, I tell them what to do. You're the only group that I listen to. And you know why? Because you have reached the highest level in your professional student career. Therefore, you have knowledge and skills that require me Fair enough. Very good. Next slide. What you need to understand is that CIA first went to Banks Industries, a $3.4 trillion company founded in 1881. And said, we need a new product. So they put a new product on the market. You won't find it in an Apple store. You won't find it in a Samsung store, now Lenovo. This product was specifically designed for you. Next slide. And only you would be able to understand features and the functions and the purpose of this new product. Next slide. And like any other product out on the market, that is of extreme value, high quality worth, it has to fit everybody's personality. So, next slide. It comes in 4 colors. I like this stuff. Next slide. So this is who I am in a nutshell. I went to 4 different universities. Bachelor's degree in applied mathematics, which is an old school word for engineering mathematics. Went to college for 5 years, paid 0, full scholarship. About $26,000. The next one, Master's in Educational Leadership, Regent University, $15,000, paid 0. Next one, Master's in International Learning Styles. International Learning Styles. In other words, how do we teach students from Southeast Asia? How do we teach students in international curriculums? How do we teach students who are not learning their native curriculum? $12,000. I paid 0. PhD. Most PhDs in America are $80,000 to $120,000 a year. You know how much I paid for that?
0.
$11,000. Question is, how can I do that? It starts right here. I played sports, American football, Roman Greco wrestling, track and field, trombone, and y'all thought I was just dancing. I did some work too. I like this girl. If you thought that was funny. Next slide. You've mastered it. Congratulations. Next slide. You know the mission. These are those lessons where you was able to express yourself at a deeper level, and you've mastered that. Congratulations. Good job. Next slide. And this is who you are, because this is what we value. And this is where I need your help to make sure that all the rest of our students, 9, 10, 11, and 12, are aspiring to be as great as you are. Because we can do better. Next slide. This is our leadership team. It's growing. Next slide. This is that wonderful staff that I keep seeing these long lines. I thought they was giving away food or something because the lines get so long during breaks. Everybody's switching classes. Next slide. This is how I see you, even when you don't see yourself that way. This is how your parents see you. This is the reason why we're always raising the bar. At your age, it's hard to believe that you have overcame so much in such a small amount of time. Statistically, you're only going to spend 25% of your time in the nest. It's not a long time to be living at home with your parents. I have a 27-year-old and a 25-year-old, and I miss them dearly. But they're out of the nest. You think about that. For the first 18 years of your life, you're at home with your parents, and then that's it. Why do you think we push so hard? Because we don't want you to come back. Okay. We push so hard because we don't know what you're going to face. So we are pushing to make sure that we have put everything in you that we know that we faced, and that you know how to handle that. Think about it. When you go off to college, you're on your own. You won't see your parents again until the holidays. Won't nobody be there when you get off or get out of class. Even if you're going to go to college here, you're not going to go to school and go home. So think about it. 20% of your life, you're in the nest. The rest of it, you're on your own. So we got less time to put into strong values. And then the only thing we're going to be doing is watching from afar to see how strong those seeds are that we planted with you. So whenever you don't understand why your parents act the way they do towards you, now you know. We are running out of time. We got less than 1 year left with you. And then that's it. We're just coaching and praying and hope that you're making good decisions. You see where I'm going with this now? Good. Data rules everything around me. It should rule everything around you too. And it sounds like this. Mom and Dad, I want you to buy me a car. What? Yeah. Why? Because you love me. That's not data. The data says they loved you. You lived in their house. Right? The data said they fed you. What did you do to deserve a car? You see how I want you to change your thinking? Now, if you would have said, Mother, Father, by the end of the school year, I will get a 4.1 GPA and will require transportation at my next level of education, then you have a case because you provided them with data. Right? Welcome to the real world we've been expecting. Now we got something to talk about. What you're bringing to the table and what your parents are going to bring to the table. It's no longer, mommy cannot have, daddy cannot have. It's, this is what I can do for myself, and this is where you can help me be better at doing for myself. Does that make sense? We have all the moms in here saying, okay. Yeah. Wonderful. So, let's talk about some of the problems first and how you can help us. Next slide. One problem is that we only have 37% of the time, and your parents have 67% of the time. That means we have less time to put in all those values before you go home. More than likely, your parents are working, so they see even less of you. So your parents are relying on that 37% of the time to do everything. Is that fair to the school? We even have parents call to say, I can't wake her up. She's not getting up in the morning. What? You called the school for that? He's not eating his lunch. He's not eating his dinner. What can you do? What? I can't get him to wake up in the morning. Excuse me? You know who you are. That's why you laugh. Happened at parent conferences in middle school. He won't take a shower. We know. Now look at you. Can't stay out of the mirror. Think about this transformation you've gone through. And because we had 37% of the time, your teachers are supposed to spend 100% of their time educating you. But it doesn't work that way, does it? You resist. Now that 37% of instruction time, growth time, mentorship is now down to 15%. And when it goes down to 15%, you complain and say things like, that teacher's boring. That teacher did not entertain me. Were you fair to that teacher? Did the teacher have to look at your dress code and say, come on, put your pants up, put your shirt, tuck it in. Why am I saying this again? Oh, come on, teacher. The data. I told you I like data. We have 30% of your lifetime to educate you. And we only have 12 years to do it. Now look back on your 12 years. Is that a lot of time? Not when you're going to spend 20 to 80 somewhere else. Welcome to the real world. Now you know what data is all about. Next slide. Congratulations on your AP scores. They are fantastic. Next slide. We are the school in blue. Look at that. Next slide. Next slide. These are MAP scores. That's right. Fall MAP scores. Fantastic work. That's you, right? And the final slide. That means that you guys are very, very smart, and you are not being challenged at a higher level. So now we're going to challenge you even more. You thought you was going to get in your senior year, and then you're just going to coast, just going to retire. The number one thing, or the number one question a college recruiter is looking at is exactly what you do in your 12th grade year. If you're taking 2 and 3 study halls, they don't want you. You are now easily moved to the bottom of the list because they know you're not serious. If you are not being challenged, and I know the feeling. I did not understand why my mother wanted me to take pre-calculus and physics in my senior year when I was going to be a football player.